Here are the Prussians. Um, they are a bit cheaper. Their big things are that Altai Regiment. They have an advantage in settlement of combat, so that means when they charge, they get plus 2d6, which is really good. I mean, when you assault, you get 2 extra dice, and that can mean the difference of these guys getting completely annihilated or what. So they're very good hand to hand. Get kind pardon. These units roll a favorable morale test or motivation test to counterattack in a combat phase, so they're going to get their chance to most likely. Um, so they get to re-roll when they get attacked, assaulted. So they're going to hit back, and they're going to get that 2d6 to hit you back with, most likely. And another one is that these units, Pro Gloria et Patria, again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, these units roll get a re-roll to discipline test to recover casualties. So what's really good about the Germans, or the Prussians, is that when they try to recover casualties, they can re-roll to get that base back, which means that they're very hard to kill if you give them a respite. If they're good about sending some guys forward and then bringing them back to rest and recover, they're very hard to kill because they keep getting their guys back. Very good at healing. You get a Prussian infantry brigade for free. This has lots of options, which is really nice. One nice thing is that you can get swap a regular infantry for the 1st through 12th infantry regiment, which are really good. You can see over here, the 1st through 12th, they get the Alte regiment, so they're really good. Those are the guys that are really good at hand-to-hand fighting. Same thing for the Guard. The regular guys don't get that, but they get all the other rules. Alright, so the Prussians are even cheaper than the British. They get more. They don't really have a lot of options. You're going to get 3 in each regiment. And they use regiments. They're kind of like the Russians of Flames of War, in a sense, how they organize. So you only get 3 battalions. Really no options except to go to overstrength, which, of course, when you're trying to recover bases, you can recover all your bases if you're overstrength. So that's a really good thing. Nice synergy there for the Prussians. They do have quite a bit of options for their cavalry, so I highly recommend their cavalry, since they can get a lot of different things on there. And one good thing, the British I don't think have the heavy artillery. Yeah, see, the Prussians and the French do. So that's a big deal. Heavy artillery is awesome, 24-inch range as opposed to 20-inch range. And you get to, every time you roll a 6, you get to roll it again to see if you get another hit and another hit. Every time you keep rolling 6s, you keep nailing the guy for more hits. So the Prussians are really good for just staying in battle because they keep getting their bases back. So a smart general will win a lot of battles with these forces. The Russians, the Russians. They really don't look bad. They're cheap. They're the orcs of Napoleon at war. You can get a lot of them, and they look like they really don't have any drawbacks. But they have trained troops. It's not like they have a lot of raw. I mean, they got the Cossacks. They've got massed artillery, so they're really good at blowing things up. And they're stubborn, which means that they don't run away very easily. So what's wrong with them? Well, there's really nothing wrong with them. It's just that there's nothing right with them. Other than stubborn, they don't have anything that really helps them that's normal. I mean, Cossacks are a cool thing to have, but some of them are poorly equipped, bad gunpowder. Then bad gunpowder hurts your artillery because if you roll a 5, it's not a hit. So you have to be careful with the Russians. Here's the infantry division, lots of artillery. And as you can see, you get 2 musketeer for 120, so that's 60 per battalion. Really cheap, so you can have a lot of them. And, you could have a lot of good troops. You could just add in a lot of these guards or whatever. Get some Cossacks back there, very cheap to mess up the deployment. So they're they're really good. You just have to have a lot of models for them. So I think that's, yeah, and they got heavy artillery, lots of artillery options. So the Russians are really good for just massing up and beating you up. Problem is that sometimes they get in their own way. So you just have to be careful of that. Last but not least are the Austrians. They have an infantry. They have light, not too many options right now. I'm a little disappointed in that, but their national characteristics, basically the main one is gross battalion and battalion mass. They do have best standing for their elite forces. And here's what battalion mass does. Basically, when you're in column formation, there's cavalry nearby, you can re-roll to form a square, which is really good. Problem is that if you are close to a cavalry and somebody shoots you with artillery, then they get to re-roll their misses. So watch out for artillery from them. But with gross battalion, they always have favorable rolls when doing saving throws, so they don't lose a lot of guys. Unless you hit them 4 times, you're not going to blow them up too easily. And you know, they have some terrain things that help them. Of course, they got the augers to help kill other generals. And they have best standing for their elite forces, so they don't run away. They're not exhausted until more of their half of their units instead of at half. For instance, you have 2 battalions. One of them dies. You start rolling a morale check to see if they stay. For the best standing, it has to be more than half. So they'll have to, you know, if you have 2, basically they all have to be wiped out in order for them to run off the board, which they're already dead. So they're very good at hanging around and not getting killed. They are, what is that, 90 points, so they're a lot like the Prussians as far as points are concerned. Not too many options, but what they do a lot of times is that they give combinations to their cavalry. They have attached artillery that run around with them, which is really nice. So even though it doesn't look like they have a lot of options, they really do, and you know, within each force. So that's the Austrian forces.